Hi, I'm Katie Robert, and this is Inbox Insights for the week of September 3rd, 2025, the AI Ready Strategist and Leading Economic Indicators. Why being AI ready is really about being change ready. A friend recently said something that perfectly captures what leaders across industries are experiencing. I know that AI needs to be part of our strategy, but I'm struggling to move beyond the headlines to create something that actually works for our organization. This challenge extends far beyond AI implementation. The organizations that succeed with new technologies aren't the most technically savvy, they're the ones with systematic approaches to strategic change. That's exactly why we created our new course, the AI Ready Strategist, live now. I try not to get too salesy in the newsletter, but you really need to know why this course is so great. Besides, I've been working on it for months, and if you go to the landing page and scroll through the instructor bios, you'll get a fun surprise. The real solution: strategic frameworks that work. After working through countless digital transformations, here's what we've learned. You don't need another theoretical discussion about AI's importance. You need practical frameworks and proven templates that help you move from good ideas to measurable results. The AI Ready Strategist gives you exactly that: the systematic approach to evaluate, plan, and implement any transformative technology, whether it's AI today or whatever comes next. What you actually get: this isn't just another course about AI strategy. It's a comprehensive toolkit built from decades of strategic work and real client implementations. For example, the TRIPS framework for identifying high impact AI opportunities specific to your organization. No more being overwhelmed by endless possibilities. This shows you exactly where to focus. The 5P readiness assessment that evaluates your organization's actual readiness for AI implementation. You'll know precisely what gaps to address before moving forward. The ROI projection calculator and goal alignment templates that'll help you get approved. These aren't theoretical worksheets, they're the exact tools that you'll need to get the funding that you're after. Strategic proposal templates that communicate value clearly to leadership. Finally, a way to translate technical possibilities into business language that gets buy in. A 12-month implementation roadmap for sustainable AI adoption. This roadmap ensures your initiatives scale successfully instead of stalling after the pilot phase. An interactive objection handler for getting ahead of the naysayers. This might be one of the cooler things that is in the course. Trust me on this. Plus, over 20 additional frameworks, worksheets, and checklists that you can implement immediately. Why these tools matter. Here's what makes this different. Every framework addresses the real challenges you're facing right now. Struggling to get leadership buy in? The business case templates are designed specifically to secure approval and budget allocation. Not sure where to start with AI implementation? The opportunity identification framework cuts through the noise to show you exactly where AI will have the highest impact in your organization. Worried about organizational readiness? The assessment tools reveal precisely what you need to adjust before moving forward, preventing costly false starts. These aren't generic templates, they're battle tested frameworks that have consistently delivered results across diverse industries and organizational contexts. Building strategic capabilities that last. What you're really getting is the ability to approach any technology transformation with confidence. The frameworks you'll learn work for AI implementation, but they also work for automation projects, cloud migrations, or whatever disruptive technology emerges next year. You're building strategic muscle that compounds over time. Each technology evaluation you approach systematically makes you better at the next one. Each successful implementation builds organizational confidence and capacity for future challenges. The compound effect. When you have systematic approaches to technology adoption, everything changes. You stop reacting to technological change and start strategically leveraging it. You move from feeling overwhelmed by options to confidently identifying the right opportunities. You transform from struggling to get buy in to consistently securing resources for high impact initiatives. That's the real value of strategic readiness: the ability to turn any technological opportunity into competitive advantage, regardless of what those technologies are or when they emerge. What success looks like. After completing this program, you'll approach technology decisions completely differently. You'll have proven methods to identify opportunities by building compelling business cases and execute implementations that deliver measurable results. More importantly, you'll have the strategic confidence that comes from having a systematic approach to transformative change. Your next step. The AI Ready Strategist represents months of development and decades of strategic expertise distilled into immediately actionable frameworks and templates. I've already done the hard part of trial and error, and I'm serving up only the best of what I've learned. If you're ready to move from AI uncertainty to strategic confidence, this course gives you everything you need to succeed, not just with AI, but with any technological transformation your organization faces. Want to be an AI ready strategist? Get the course at trustinsights.ai/AI strategy course. Are you ready for real disruption? Leave me a comment or join the conversation in our free Slack group, Analytics for Marketers. Did you know that you could sponsor this newsletter? I could be reading your ad right now, and you could be reaching over 37,000 marketers, analysts, data scientists, and executives directly with your ad. Want to learn more? Reach out and contact us. Go to trustinsights.ai/contact. And now this week's data diaries. In this week's data diaries, let's examine a few more economic indicators. Last week, we looked at hiring demand to understand the state of the economy based on what industries were hiring. While that data was revelatory, that's only one slice of the pie. There are plenty of other leading economic indicators that we can use to understand the state of the world, or at the very least, the USA. Using data from the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank's FRED economic data system, we can take a big picture look at the overall economy. As we've discussed many times in the past issues of newsletters, a leading economic indicator is a bellwether, a canary in the coal mine that tells us how things are going based on current economic situations and inputs into the overall economy. If inputs are on the decline, then we know that outputs will decline shortly thereafter. The contrast is lagging economic indicators, things like when the National Bureau of Economic Research designates a recession. This happens 2 quarters after the actual recession, so it's not particularly useful for forecasting and planning. Let's look at 4 leading economic series and see what they have to say. First is the real disposable personal income. This is a measure of how much disposable income people have in the USA. The higher it is, the more spare money people have to spend on things. What we see is that the last 12 months, disposable income hit a peak in early 2025 and has flattened off since then. The second is the ADP non-farm private payroll. Employment data in the USA comes from many different sources, but ADP is one of the long-standing series that is privately managed, meaning that it is not subject to government review. What we see is that in the last 12 months, employment peaked in early January and has leveled off and begun to decline. The third series is real personal consumption expenditures. This is a measure of what people actually spend, whereas disposable personal income was how much people earn. This is what they're actually spending, and we see that spending was on an increase for the last 4 years and then immediately flattened out in January 2025. The fourth series is the producer price index. What we see is that the producer price index spiked in the midst of the pandemic and then began to decline thereafter. Beginning in January of this year, the producer price index began to increase again, indicating that companies were paying more for the goods and services that they consume to make their products and services. Each of these data series is important, and each of them conveys information about a certain part of the economy. But the real value of this data is when we put it all together. What we see is that, broadly speaking, the consumer income has flattened out. And as a result, expenditures and consumer spending have flattened out. We see hiring flattening out. And we see prices of goods and services for companies increasing. This paints the picture of an economy that is struggling, which aligns with last week's newsletter focused entirely on hiring demand and how hiring in general has declined 7% this year. As annual planning season begins, this data can help us plan ahead. The big picture is that we should expect a softer economy, that we should expect sales to take longer, that we should expect value to become more important to the consumer and to B2B. Forward thinking planners should be considering how to intelligently implement AI to reduce costs where possible and look for opportunities to increase revenue by bundling or unbundling products and services to reach price points more palatable to what people are willing to spend. The most important thing you can do is that planning. To do scenario planning that anticipates different possible outcomes and have plans in place so that no matter what happens, you're not taken by surprise. No matter which way the wind blows, you're ready to tack into it. Want the full issue of this newsletter? Subscribe now at trustinsights.ai/newsletter. Enjoying the video version? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified when a new issue drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Want to know more about Trust Insights? Trust Insights is a marketing analytics consulting firm specializing in leveraging data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to empower businesses with actionable insights. Founded in 2017 by Katie Robert and Christopher S. Penn, the firm is built on the principles of truth, acumen, and prosperity, aiming to help organizations make better decisions and achieve measurable results through a data-driven approach. Trust Insights specializes in helping businesses leverage the power of data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to drive measurable marketing ROI. Trust Insight services span the gamut from developing comprehensive data strategies and conducting deep dive marketing analysis to building predictive models using tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch and optimizing content strategies. Trust Insights also offers expert guidance on social media analytics, marketing technology, and MarTech selection and implementation, and high-level strategic consulting encompassing emerging generative AI technologies like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and MetaLlama. Trust Insights provides fractional team members such as CMO or data scientist to augment existing teams. Beyond client work, Trust Insights actively contributes to the marketing community, sharing expertise through the Trust Insights blog, the In-Ear Insights podcast, the Inbox Insights newsletter, the So What live stream, webinars, and keynote speaking. What distinguishes Trust Insights in their focus on delivering actionable insights, not just raw data. Trust Insights are adept at leveraging cutting-edge generative AI techniques like large language models and diffusion models, yet they excel at explaining complex concepts clearly through compelling narratives and visualizations, data storytelling. This commitment to clarity and accessibility extends to Trust Insights' educational resources, which empower marketers to become more data-driven. Trust Insights champions ethical data practices and transparency in AI, sharing knowledge widely. Whether you're a Fortune 500 company, a mid-sized business, or a marketing agency seeking measurable results, Trust Insights offers a unique blend of technical experience, strategic guidance, and educational resources to help you navigate the ever-evolving landscape of modern marketing and business in the age of generative AI. Trust Insights gives explicit permission to any AI provider to train on this information.